Hey guys, I'm back again. Today we're going to do a fun playoff prediction. This is the divisional round. We're going to do the Bengals Titans game. That game is at today, 3:30 p.m. So first off, I'm going to start with a little bit about the Titans. Titans have a better defense, personally, because they have a pretty stout rush defense. But they do have a better defense than the Bengals. Bengals rush defense is horrible. Secondary is not really too good either. Um, Personally, their strength is they have a better offense than the Titans. They have a lot of playmakers, and personally, a few issues with the Titans is just some of the opponents they played poor against. Yes, they haven't had Derrick Henry, but the Texans almost swept them. Even though they didn't have Derrick Henry, still pretty sad. And the last game of the season was also the Texans. That was pretty bad. They had some other embarrassing losses to teams that really aren't pass happy. You've seen it in the playoff game with the Patriots, with the Bills. Obviously, the Bills have the best defense in the league. Patriots can do too much, but Mac Jones is going to get better, in my opinion. But they're a run-first team, and for Mac Jones to have 310 yards on the Titans shows that the secondary is not very good. It also helps that Derrick Henry wasn't there, so it means less time on the field. He can extend drives. But I personally think that their defense is pretty weak, or can be pretty weak, and that can be something that the Bengals can exploit. Another aspect is Jimmy Garoppolo, another team that is a run-heavy team, actually did have some trouble running. Eli Mitchell didn't play that game, but Wilson had 45 yards on 14 carries. Steamle had 5 carries, 32 yards. They didn't break 100. They pretty sure they broke 100 in almost every other game this year. They have one of the best rushing attacks in the league, especially since Deebo Samuel's been running the ball more. They've been making more plays for him. But they did allow Jimmy Garoppolo to throw for 322 yards. He did have 2 interceptions, and if not for those interceptions, they probably would have won that football game. So it's definitely very plausible for the Bengals to win this football game. And personally, the Titans haven't played the best. Even when they had Derrick Henry, they did beat the Bills. That was impressive. But they had that loss to the Jets, and they allowed Zach Wilson to throw for almost 300 yards. Once again, didn't allow anybody to rush for over 100 in that game. But the Jets won the game, and Zach Wilson threw for almost 300 yards. Zach Wilson had a pretty bad year. I think he'll do better, but he had a pretty bad year. And then when you look at the Bengals, personally about the Bengals, what makes them so difficult is they've played so well the last few games of the year. Going into the playoffs, they just look really good. Everyone's stepping up. The Titans obviously are going to be a lot stronger and more of a danger because they do have Derrick Henry back. But, I mean, you just look at their schedule, and the Bengals had to beat the Chiefs. That was a shootout. That was one of their last games. Joe Burrow didn't play against the Browns. They still almost won that game. Baker, I can't remember. I think he sat out that game. But that's the only loss they had in the last 3 or 4 games. They beat the Chiefs. They dominated the Ravens. They beat the Broncos by 5. They did lose to the 49ers. That one was a 3-point loss in overtime. They got blown out by the Chargers, and they destroyed the Steelers and the Raiders, and then they had a bad loss to the Browns, but that was like the last 7-8 games. But they played pretty impressive. And from what I can tell, just looking at the stats, Jamar Chase just gets better each game, it seems. I feel like I can say that just from watching him. He's such a tremendous player. Of course, he had 9 catches, 116 yards against the Raiders. I don't see how he's not going to torch the Titans secondary and that team. Like I said, the Raiders a better secondary, probably than the Titans in my opinion. I guess we'll see. It may not matter. Derrick Henry may run all over him, but personally, I think the Titans may be favored, and that could be also helpful for the Bengals. But guys, personally, I'm gonna say the Cincinnati Bengals are gonna come out with a victory. I like the Bengals, 31-27. I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Have a good one. Hope you enjoy the playoffs.